It's a lot of motivation and endurance, especially if you're going to run long distances. Ansley Watson getting ready to run a long distance, a half marathon, and she's learning more this morning about how she's going to get ready for that. Good morning, Ansley.
Good morning, Vicki. Well, we're out at Presque Isle in front of a beautiful sunrise, enjoying the day, where we are going to talk about how to prepare for that marathon, half marathon. So if you remember a few weeks ago, we met up with the race director of the Marquette Marathon. We just talked about details, how to register, how to get involved, maybe volunteer. But this morning, we're meeting with the NMU head track coach, and she is going to talk to us about how to get yourself ready for those long distances. So I'm really excited to hear. I know Cassie and I really need the motivation. We really need the help. And I know a lot of people involved in this race would love to hear these tips as well. So stay with us. Reporting live in Marquette, Ansley Watson, TV6 News.
All right, thank you very much, Ansley. We'll get caught up in a little bit. I'm laughing because, Cassie, you're sitting here going, training? What? I'm supposed to train for that?
Yeah. You know what? I started my training program this week.
Hey, there you go.
It's a 12-week training program.
Okay.
This is week 1.
All right.
And
good for you.
I've only thought I was going to die a couple times.
Oh, that's not bad. See, I don't think you're going to die from it.
No.
Maybe collapse and have to be drug off to the side of the runway. But
yeah,
it's okay.
one of my runs this week, because it was raining, had to be on the treadmill, and falling off the treadmill was a thought that was going through my mind. But it's all good. We got this.
Welcome back. Well, the Marquette Marathon just a few months away. It's time to start kicking it into high gear to get ready for your preparations. Ansley Watson this morning tells us what we need to start doing now to get in shape. Good morning, Ansley.
Good morning, Vicki. All I know is we need motivation. We can do this. Anybody who's involved in this marathon or half marathon, it's successful. Yeah, Vicki's not doing it, but Cassie and I are, and it's going to be awesome. So joining me this morning is the head track coach and cross-country coach for NMU, Jenny Ryan. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So I'm talking about myself here, for people who've never done this before, never even ran a half marathon, these long distances, what should you do? How do you get started in training?
Well, I mean, you should consistently, run 4 to 6 days a week, and definitely be doing one longer run each week. So, add up your mileage depending on where you're at, and then you want to increase your mileage, like maybe 5 to 8 miles a week, so you get to the point where you're running for the half marathon maybe up to 25 30 miles a week, and for a marathon all the way up to 40 to 60 miles a week. Yeah.
Why is it important to just do that one long run a week? Why not maybe more longer runs during the week?
Well, that one longer run really builds your endurance, and it is such a long run that you it really wears you out a little bit, so you need to recover. So it takes time for your body to recover from that longer run.
Talking about rest and recovery, that's so important. When should we do that? Do you take a couple days off?
I mean, the older you get, the longer it takes to recover. So, when you're older, you might only run 3, 4, 5 days a week. But when you're younger, you could run the 6 days. But I have my athletes even take 1 day off a week, even at their age, because it takes that time for your body to recover. So really, the rest and making sure you're getting good rest every night. And then, of course, the good nutrition, but definitely the rest and the day of rest helps your body to, it absorbs all the training that you've done, and then gets it ready for the next week that you're going to train.
I've been told that cross training is also really important, that you shouldn't just run to get ready, that you need to cross train. What are some things that you should do to cross train?
Yeah, well, biking is really good, and swimming, and because running is so much pounding on your legs and on your body, it's really good to do that cross training. And it also gives you then more volume in your training, which gives you more endurance. So you can cross train 2 days a week, 1 to up to 3 days a week, depending on if you're doing the half or the marathon. The marathon, you definitely need to get in a lot of that mileage, and so you're probably going to want to be running 5, 6 days a week. But the half marathon, you can definitely do some cross training.
Now you're saying, let's go back to the longer runs, that even on the longer runs, you need to take a rest from that, even after like every 4 weeks or so. What were you saying about that?
Yeah, it's called periodization. So you want to slowly, every 3 to 4 weeks, you want to take a little bit of a break, because when you keep increasing every week, the amount of mileage you have, your body's going to get a little bit tired. So you need to take a little break and then restart up. And that long run, you want to slowly increase the amount you do. So one week you do maybe 7 miles, then the next week you do 8 or 9, and then 10, and then in a half marathon you want to get up to the point where you do a long run of 10 miles, 10 or 11, and in a marathon you want to get all the way up to 18 to 20 miles as your long run. But you do want to do that, you don't want to do that right the weekend before the marathon. So you want to stop that long run 2 to 3 weeks before, because you also need to taper a little bit that last week or 2 weeks down to the race. So the most important thing when you get close to the race is really to be healthy and rested and feel good. You want to do some short runs, of course, up until the race, but you don't want to do that really long run right before the race.
That is so crucial right before the big race day. You don't want to be sore. So what would you say, like maybe a couple miles a week or so, or what is a short run, I guess I'm asking?
Yeah, I mean that week of the half, if you're doing the half marathon, maybe some 3 or 4 mile runs, depending on what you're used to doing, and that's all too based on what you've done and what you're doing. Before the marathon, you're going to do some 4, 5, 6, 7 mile runs up until, but the couple days before, definitely back off, and you're only going to do maybe some 3 and 4 mile runs. Really get rested and maybe take an extra day off too in that last week.
Well, I know there's plenty of guides out there as well for runners to look at to help them along. Maybe suggest one that's a really good one that you like to use.
Yeah, if you just Google marathon training, but in Runner's World has some really good ones, and Hal Higdon, who's a marathon guy, he's got a great website that has all the way from beginner, intermediate, advanced training plans, and they map out, depending on if you're going to do, you have 12 weeks or 16 weeks or 18 weeks. So the most important thing is just to kind of follow that plan and run consistently. That's the main thing. Don't take too many days off, because then you're not getting your training in, and don't taper too much, because then you're not ready. So yeah, so follow those plans. There are definitely a lot of great plans.
Okay, well, Jenny, thank you for being with us, and stay with us. We'll talk more about what you can expect on race day. Reporting live at Marquette, Ansley Watson, TV6 News.
Okay, thank you very much, Ansley. Run on. You know what my favorite part of getting ready for a big event like that is? The spaghetti feed the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta carb up.
Love spaghetti. Actually, I don't really
All
like
the runners
spaghetti.
are out there like, oh, no. Well, if you are outdoors, welcome back. It is a beautiful morning. A lot of people are inspired to get outdoors and do something. Well, this morning we've been getting tips on how to train for upcoming marathons and half marathons. Ansley Watson is live this morning to tell us more how to go about that. Good morning, Ansley.
Good morning, Vicki. We're out on Presque Isle, hitting the trails, getting ready for this marathon and half marathon. I always say marathon, but Cassie and I are doing half, just to make that clear. Joining me this morning is the head coach for NMU, the cross-country team and track team, Jenny Ryan. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
So we are out on these trails, and you're saying how important it is to be out on trails, kind of running that terrain.
Yeah, just running trails is getting the different terrain, and then it's also a little bit easier on your legs. So instead of doing all the pavement, I mean the marathon is mostly on pavement, but just give your legs a break from all that pounding. It's good to run on the trails, and then we have so many great trails around Marquette. I mean the ones right here, but then also the South trails. There's all kinds of single track trails. They're mountain bike trails, but they're awesome for running. And doing those hills also makes your legs stronger. So running up and down those hills.
As much as we hate those hills, they're so good for us. Why is that?
Yeah.
So the NMU track team is hosting this fundraiser, kind of help people train for these races and just kind of get in shape too. What is that all about?
Yeah, it's both the cross country and track and field team, and we have Tuesday nights we're doing a training group. It started a couple weeks ago, but you can still sign up if you want to be a part of it. We just do hard workouts every Tuesday. We do hills, we do intervals. It's the location is somewhere different each week, and you can sign up on the NMU website under camps. But it's all ages. We have some 15, 16-year-old boys, and all the way up to 30, 40, 50, and even a 60-year-old in the group. And so we just do some hard workouts, a chance to get out there and do those workouts with some other people and have some fun.
Okay, so we're gonna place ourselves to the night before the race day. What should we be, maybe even a week before, what should we be eating? We need to be hydrating ourselves. What should we do before the race day?
Yeah, well, definitely the week before, especially for the marathon, you should, increase the amount of food you eat. The couple days, so it's kind of carbo loading, and the couple days before, and the night before, you should definitely make sure you eat a good dinner. Don't eat so huge that you just feel sick.
Yeah.
But definitely increase your calories a little bit, and and staying hydrated definitely all week, making sure, well, all the time you should stay hydrated, but especially that week you don't want to get into the race being dehydrated, and being rested, getting your sleep, getting your recovery, and right after you train, that first 30 minutes after you train is really important to get some good nutrition in, protein, carbs in that first 30 minutes if you don't have time to get a meal right away.
What about the morning of? Should you eat a light breakfast?
Yeah, you should definitely eat a breakfast, because it's going to be a pretty long race. You might want to get up and make sure you eat it. Some people like to eat it even as close as 2 hours to an hour before, but like my runners, when we do a race, they like to eat 3-4 hours because you want it to mostly settle, but you don't want to be hungry during the race. So a half marathon, you might want to eat a little bit closer to it, but then stay hydrated, and then just make sure that you're ready to go and rested.
So it is so important to pace yourself, and we all know at the beginning of the race your adrenaline is pumping, you're ready to go. We were saying it's so good to keep that slow and steady pace.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest mistake people make in a half marathon. Well, even in a 5K, but half marathon is to go too fast in the beginning because you got the excitement of the race and people around you, and you're like, and you will feel good because you have that adrenaline going. So you'll be like, oh, I could run faster than I ever thought I could, which you might be able to for a few miles, but then it's going to hit you. So it's more important to make sure that you start off at the pace that you're ready to run, and stay relaxed in that first couple miles and just enjoy it, and then then you'll feel good the whole race, and it's much better to feel good and pass people towards the end instead of be just surviving towards the end. So yeah, definitely.
Well, I think it's really important to just motivate people and encourage people that they can do it, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean anyone can do it if you just consistently train and get some running in, and you can do a half marathon. You can do a marathon if that's your goal. It's running's a great thing, and we have a great running community here in Marquette for all ages. So definitely get out and take part in the marathon.
Well, thank you, Jenny, for giving us great training tips. It's much needed for sure. Thanks for being with us. Reporting live in Marquette, Ansley Watson, and we'll be back with more of your TV6 Morning News after the break.